What do you take from the market's reaction to your forecast? You see the shares falling this morning. Is that unexpected, or did you know this was going to happen when you started into buying Monsanto and started finishing up that acquisition?
Well, I assume, first, thanks for the question, and I assume that our communication has not been fully understood and digested. I think it's very important to note that we have seen another quarter of growth in the second quarter with our Bayer standalone business. We are up in our core earnings per share. We are up in our earnings, and we have confirmed the full year guidance for the Bayer business. The fact that you are alluding to, that the earnings per share are lower than so far guided is a technicality, because we are closing the Monsanto business a little bit later than we had expected, and the earnings of Monsanto that have been generated this year come to us to a larger extent as cash flow rather than reported earnings. But also the Monsanto business is very healthy. It is performing in line with our expectations, and the underlying earnings power is exactly where we thought it was going to be. So we are very, very positive for the combination of the businesses for the remainder of the year. And we are also looking at the great prospects that we are now having as the leading ag company in the world, with the best technology, best products, best regional reach, and a very experienced and seasoned management team. And our people are pumped up and ready to go.
Just to the point about your communication, there are 19 buys on your stock right now and only one sell. I just checked on the Bloomberg. So the analyst community either kind of not getting it or kind of convinced that the numbers that you're talking about and the outlook you just mentioned is one that they should be focusing on. Werner, do you have no regrets about the Monsanto acquisition? The Roundup story caught a lot of people by surprise in terms of the size and scale. Did it catch you by surprise? Did it make you kind of, to excuse the pun, have a little bit of buyer's remorse?
Well, as I mentioned already, if you look at the competitive strength that is now in place with the combination of the best ag chemicals company in the world and the best seeds biotechnology in the world and the best and furthest advanced and actually also furthest penetrated digital platform, the high complementarity of the businesses, the strengths of the combined management team, we are as excited as we have ever been about the combination, and there's absolutely no regrets. I would say to the contrary. We are totally excited to now finally get going, and the fact that we have a single verdict that is in total opposition to the science and the regulatory status, with a product that has been used safely for more than 40 years, where there's absolutely no relationship between the use of the product and the development of cancer diseases, does not change it a bit.
Okay, so let's just kind of pick that apart a little bit. Were you surprised? What you're saying is it sounds like you were surprised by what happened in that verdict, and I'm kind of, just to sort of extend that a little bit, say there were further surprises. At what point do you kind of get into the realms of talking to your lawyers about like a sort of settlement plan, how you would structure that? I'm just wondering how you see the timeline rolling through.
Well, we again stand firmly behind the safety, and that's also backed up by the regulatory status of glyphosate globally, regardless where you go. There are more than 800 studies out there that confirm the safety of the product and that also confirm that there is no cause and effect between the use of the product and the development of cancer. And there is a US government-funded study that has run for more than 20 years with more than 50,000 people, and there are significant others in farm operations. That is the biggest real-life evidence study that was ever performed that confirms these results from the other studies. So from that perspective, we see a verdict of a jury that is in strong opposition with the science and the regulatory status, we are going to file the motions in the court in San Francisco in order to overturn this verdict. We are also going to go and appeal if necessary, and we remain totally confident that this product will continue to be in the market because it is safe and very important for the farmers that use it.
I mean, I understand. I hear you saying that, Werner, and I hear you saying that the mountain of evidence is on your side. On the other hand, here we have a jury which has said that Roundup causes cancer and has awarded a plaintiff, $289 million. That's sure to come with more reverberations financially for you, which has to lead to the question, what's your strategy here? Do you continue to fight this and refuse to settle the case? Or is it something that you feel like maybe settling is the more prudent step forward?
I can only repeat what I said earlier. Glyphosate is a safe product. There is absolutely no cause and effect between the use of glyphosate on one side and the development of cancer, in this case, non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. And while we are very sympathetic, quite frankly, to Mr. Johnson and his family and the terrible disease he suffers from, there is no relation between the product and the product that he used and the onset of his disease. And with that, I already mentioned it, we will vigorously defend ourselves, and this verdict is against all the scientific data that is available, all the real-life evidence, and with that, it is totally clear that we are going to defend this and all other cases vigorously.